Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Average Joe playing the Tier 10 Imperial Japanese Navy battleship Yamato. Mixed tier matchmaking with 10s, 9s, and 8s represented. I'm going to go in here real quick and deal with this UI bug that won't keep these things active for replays. Another gift courtesy of Wargaming with the 10.5 update that, along with some others, they have yet to address. Okay, so if you are unfamiliar, which it's hard to imagine you are, this game is 6 years old at this point, but if you are unfamiliar, this battleship is known for its long-range punching power. These shells were, well, originally the claim was there would never be a battleship with bigger guns than this. Like multiple other promises made by Wargaming about this game. That is no longer true, but they are very big shells, and they do have big potential to smash enemy ships. Generally speaking, you will not see the Yamato get close because it burns like kindling. You can see quite clearly that it is a really big target, and once it starts to burn, it very often burns for a long time, and that's that's because pretty much anybody who knows anything about the game knows if you're going to fire high explosive shells, and this ship is close enough to do that, this ship makes a good target. Now that was some that was some unlucky Sigma there. Shells in front of the target, shells behind the target, but nothing on the target. And this is now 2 ships showing no respect to these shells. Joe took his time there and lined it up. Here's hoping that he has some success with that shot. Nope. Now, I haven't watched this replay. This is the first chance I've had to get a look at it as well. Now, Joe is historically primarily a co-op player. I think it's probably fair to say, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, that probably the biggest reason that he has been a primarily co-op player is there's a lot less salt and hostility. And I would have to agree with that 100%. But recently, Wargaming made the, well, that's a good shot. Wargaming made the questionable decision to shove submarines into co-op play. And if I remember correctly, Joe said he played a co-op game that went the full 20 minutes because the Reds had a submarine that just ran for the corner and nobody could see. So that was a long, boring game, and he decided to probably be spending a little bit more time playing random games as a result. To Ricochet. Well, you can see the Musashi's angled up pretty well. I do use the mod station and has some very good mods. One of them is directly below the aiming reticule. And that shows the Musashi's angle to Joe and Joe's angle to Musashi. Both of them are angled up to prevent citadel shots. And there are not a lot of other targets, but I encourage anyone, including Joe, I know it's easy to armchair quarterback after the fact, but zoom out after every shot and take a look around. Just like he's doing right now. I recommend doing it after every shot. I mean, there might be some circumstances where it's just you and a couple of ships, you know where everybody's at, and you don't feel like you have to, but I think it's a good habit to get into. Now you can see that the Alpha Cap is beginning to turn. Seattle might radar. We'll see. Or Cleveland. Got 2 radar cruisers that are sitting within close proximity to the Alpha Cap. Meanwhile, the good guys have secured Bravo and are in the process of trying to secure the Charlie Cap. And Joe is taking fire now from, I'm guessing, probably Anchorage. Two Bismarcks, who have both apparently thrown it into reverse. Oh, man. That is a lot of torpedoes. But I'm enjoying seeing the zoom out. Now, Fletcher is pushing in. Is Kaba going to make it through? Yeah, he did. And now the Bismarcks are moving forward. That's great. And you can see that this ship has a pretty decent range. 26.6 kilometers is what that largest red circle around Joe's ship. Ooh, nice shot. 3 pins, over 10k damage. So we're roughly 6.5 minutes in. Joe's sitting at about 45,000 damage. Now, it might be tempting if you have played, some other battleships to get a little bit closer. But really can't recommend that. Oof, just absolutely blapped the Cleveland. Now, Anchorage is at almost 90 degrees. If those shells are on target, he's going to be hurting. Nope. Looks like that shot was wide of the mark. Oh, the Veneto's going to show some side. Hold your fire for just a sec, Joe. Let him get as broadside as possible. There you go. That actually looks really good. Look at that. Oh, I think he got robbed. A little bit better. Now that Veneto's sitting pretty well broadside, this is probably going to end up very badly for that Veneto. Now we've got a Z44 on the minimap. You'll see there who's not moving, and that's really hurting the team. Nice shot, Joe. Picks up the Citadel to finish off the Veneto. It looks like the Iowa's on the other side of the map. The Iowa's just reversing. The Z44, I don't think that ship ever moved. That's tough to overcome. It can be done, but it's really tough. Joe has gotten far enough back that he doesn't have to worry so much about the torpedoes. But there was a Harugumo that camped to the Bravo Cap for the bad guys. It would be tough for that Harugumo to come around behind Joe because that Z44 is sitting there AFK. Harugumo would almost certainly get detected by it as soon as he got close enough. So, the bad guys are down at Veneto, Elbing, and Grossovoy. Good guys are down Seattle, Cleveland, and Shimakaze. Bad guys, well, that Fletcher, if he gets spotted again, he's probably going to get sunk. And Joe is pushing for the flank, trying to get an angle on something. Kaba weaves between the torpedoes. Another thing about this ship that you will no doubt notice it takes a while to get the turrets to turn, especially if you're turning the ship opposite the rotation of the turrets. If the turrets rotated a little faster, that shot could have been pretty devastating, but as it is, it's chip damage. But we're just over 10 minutes in. Joe's sitting at 81,000 damage. Republic is he's accelerating. He's trying to get out of the way of these shells. But those are going to be on target there. A little more chip damage. Bismarck is just rushing at the Republic. He may ramp. Friendly Kaba takes out the enemy Fletcher. Bad guys are now down 5 ships. Good guys are only down 4. Republic is trying to avoid the ramp, and that's opened its broadside to Joe's shells. That looks pretty good, Joe. Nice shot. No Citadel, but 5 pens and significant damage. Enemy Lepanto takes out the friendly Atago. Both teams now down 5 ships. That puts Joe over 100,000 damage. And that Republic is completely focused on the Bismarck, not paying any attention to Joe. And I'm really hoping that Joe's able to make it pay. We'll see. Bismarck takes out the Amalfi. Nice job, Bismarck. That was disappointing. Enemy Massachusetts takes out the Sovietsky Soyuz. That Bismarck's putting in some work. And this Republic is going to head for the map edge. I think I would aim a little more. Well, now you don't have to aim more forward. That ship's not going anywhere. It's just going to stop. And that looks pretty good. Another good shot. Disappointing that there's no Citadel, but what are you going to do? Now Republic is angling in. I think a good place to aim when you're looking at a broadside battleship like that is to try and aim for where when you've got a broadside, aim for where the barbettes are located. That's under the turret. There's like a column. Now that's going to be back toward the rear of the ship, but that's very often going to end up being a Citadel if you're able to punch through the exterior armor and into that barbette. Joe's sitting at 128,000 damage, and both ships have secondaries going to work. Joe's showing a little bit more side than the Republic. Nice shot. And I think that's the key here. You don't want to aim at the most heavily armored parts of the ship. You can aim into the superstructure, and you will almost certainly finish this ship with one more volley if your secondaries don't do the job for you. Aim nice and high. No. That's, maybe it'll get him anyway. Yeah, it did. So that's, if you're keeping track, that's 2 ships sunk and 144,000 plus damage. And Joe is having himself a pretty good game over here. Now he is way out on the flank, which in a lot of ships would be pretty crippling. But in this ship, because of the range, I don't think you're going to be able to make this turn, but I'd love to be proven wrong. Because of the range, you can still hit things. I mean, this thing's got guns even over here on the 1 line. You can get halfway across the map. Joe's going to have to accelerate, get beyond this island here to be able to do that. So we've got roughly 5.5 minutes remaining. both teams down to 3 ships. The good guys have a 300 and some odd point lead on the back of having secured the Bravo and the Charlie Cap. The Z-44, you probably noticed on the minimap, he did finally load in or get done refilling his coffee or beer or whatever it was and join the game, which is probably a really good thing. You get a full health destroyer now, and the bad guys don't have any destroyers. Summers still has most of his hit points. Joe's healing up a little bit. And detected. Now that's probably the Lepanto. Yep, it is. You can see the smoke of the Lepanto. And Joe angles against the Musashi, who had a few seconds head start to know that it was here. Oof, big shot out of the Musashi there. That hurt. You know, Joe's slowing down, but at this point in the game, I might just accelerate, just run right at Musashi. And I don't see any way the bad guys win this. Not with 2 destroyers on the good guys' team. But if Joe just sits here and throws it in reverse, these 2 could sink him. Now, Lepanto made a big mistake, in my opinion. Well, there's another one. He fired. He's smoking, but he fired so close that he was detected anyway. If Joe had his guns ready, which, you know, luck of the draw, luck of this, but that Lepanto is going to be on the same line as the Musashi, so Joe only has to angle against basically one of them to be angled against both. If the Lepanto had gone north of that little cigar-shaped island there between G and H4, might have made it a little bit tougher on Joe. Joe does have a heal. He pops it. I'll keep him in the game a little bit longer, and by the time Joe's guns are reloaded, that Lepanto might be showing some sign. We'll see. He's trying to change that. Turning in. Now, I think it's important to pick one and stick with it rather than dividing your fire. See if you can't finish out the Lepanto. That's the end of the road as far as in reverse. Joe's sitting at 175,000 damage now. Yeah, that really hurt. I think probably I would have chosen Lepanto, but and Joe very quickly shows everybody that he made the right choice. Finishes off the Musashi with secondaries. That is sweet. You don't get to do that very often in Yamato. Now this can end quite abruptly. I would say probably with the next volley, if not sooner. So I'll just say, Joe, you had a heck of a game here, brother. 208,000 damage and counting, 3 kills, and I'm guessing there's going to be a total of 4 before this is over. Fantastic job. Those of you joining me, really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this as much as me. It's fun to see this ship in action. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.